I've noticed recently that I've been a lot tougher on myself when it comes to what it is I create. I've gone from mainly filming weddings and a little bit of corporate and commercial and promotional videos in between to the complete 180 of that. I have this really weird mindset when it comes to what it is I actually make. If I don't outperform my previous project, then it means that I'm a massive failure and I don't belong in this videography world. As far back as I can remember, I've always been like this. You know, I'll finish something that's decent, but then instantly I just think, right, let's move on. No, that were rubbish. I need to move on, make something better. It's like I'm constantly competing and trying to be on top of myself. It's weird. And whilst it's a good thing, it's not. It's mainly a bad thing. I almost never give myself time to soak up the praise and feel satisfied and a sense of achievement. I just kind of dismiss it and move on. And it's very, very rare that I actually feel really proud of something that I've created. I almost rely on other people's words to tell me if it's a success or not. And that's just a bit sad. I feel like I should be able to just be proud of what I do, but sometimes I'm just not. In the rare time that I do feel proud about something, I almost get really nervous then and I start panicking, because then that means, as I mentioned before, that the next project I do has got to outperform this somehow. It's a vicious cycle. So today I'm actually going to try and change it, and hopefully if you feel the same way, then hopefully you can get something out of this and go forward and be proud of the work that you do. Just accept your weaknesses. No one's perfect, everyone has weaknesses. Simply put, you're not going to do the best on every project. You're just not. I suppose you've just got to accept that not everything on every single job you do will always go to plan. It's more likely not to go to plan. You won't always create the top 1% of your work on every job. For me, I think you've just got to take comfort in that and know that not every single job is gonna be your best. Obviously always give it your best shot and do your best, but just know that if it isn't the best of your work, then it's not really a big deal. You're still learning. Each job you're still learning. Lists. At the beginning of the year, I always make a list. A list is a good thing. Make a list. Make a list. Not make a wish, make a list. I love lists, alright? I love them. Some things that I put on this list are passion projects. Some things are projects that I think, yeah, I want to do more of that kind of thing in my business. But the difference with this list is it's not just any old list. It's a realistic list. So it's a list of things that you know for definite you can do. At the end of the year, I can look at it and think, God, yeah, I wrote this at the beginning of the year and I've actually achieved every single thing. This is a huge one for me, and I'm sure it is for most other people, and that is comparing yourself to other people, specifically obviously in the industry that you're in. More than likely, you'll always compare yourself naturally to someone that's a lot better than you. You just do. It seems human nature that you think, God, that's really good. I'm here, they're there, and I just want to get to there. So straight away, you're comparing yourself to someone that's probably got more experience than you, has been in the game longer, so they've managed to save up, establish and probably get better gear than what you've got, and more than likely they've probably got a huge pool of contacts that they can reach out to and ask about any problems or concerns, or reach out for the best person for that job and bring them on board. And as I mentioned before, you're probably more often seeing the top 1% of their work being shared. And something that I really have to sort of take a step back with and think about is, I'm at such an early stage of what I'm doing. You might be comparing yourself to somebody that's got a totally different lifestyle, lives in a totally different country. It's a totally different game at that point. They're not producing low to mid-end videos in South Yorkshire. You know what I mean? They're probably in America or London or Canada, producing for companies that are huge. What you've got to think as well, it's just a totally unfair comparison, because you're never going to compete with that. By far, this is the easiest way to fall into that pit of feeling just tiny and worthless. Admire it, study it, share it, save it, do whatever with it, but just don't compare yourself to it. So this one's really simple, and it's just record your wins. I realised that recently that I really struggle to tell people the things that I've actually achieved. I just find it really difficult to think, yeah, I've done this, this and this. And I almost find it a bit cringy to sort of say, these are the things that I've achieved. So one day, just sit down and have a think to yourself of the things that you've achieved. It might even just be a simple thing like the framing or the lighting, or it doesn't have to be a massive deal. just something that you're proud of. Because at the end of the day, that is an achievement to you. Last but not least, it's the big one. It's tough, this one. It's to celebrate your own growth. And that sounds really bad to say out loud. I don't even know how I'm going to get through this. This type of industry can take you down loads of different avenues. You're never really always working on the exact same job. Yeah, it might be, you know, say for weddings, for example, it's always going to be a wedding. But not every single wedding is the same. There's so many different variables and logistics that are just different with every single wedding. You are constantly building up this sort of mental bank of information and situations that you've put yourself in that you know you can handle. It's unfortunate, but sometimes you do just have to learn things the hard way. As long as we're learning as we're going, there's absolutely no reason why you can't occasionally sit back, put your feet up, have a coffee, and just enjoy it and just admire and be proud of the work that you create. The reason I made this is because I've recently been feeling really shitty about the sort of work I do and looking back, and you just have these moments of like doubt. I think everyone goes through it. So I just thought I'd make this video to sort of help. Because obviously I've told you how you can feel more positive about your work. It's sort of brainwashing myself. Yeah, it's sort of a reminder for me of the steps that I need to take as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.